Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today I have got two special topics for you guys. The first one is about India's conversation with Taliban. Yes, that's a very interesting topic. And the second one is about Maharashtra's agricultural scenario. At present it is less crop per drop. We need to change this into more crop per drop. What are the things that are going on in Maharashtra? We are going to talk about this thing as well. Then we will talk about some important news items. But before that, I would like to introduce all of you to our pen drive and tablet courses. Dear friends, they are available for various different exams, as you can see on your screen. And if you want to check out the demo lectures, then everything is available on StudyIQ.com. Just visit StudyIQ.com and you will know everything about our pen drive and tablet courses. In case if you have any question or queries, you can feel free and give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. Now, we'll start with this question. If all the major powers of the world, including Washington, Moscow and Beijing, are talking to the Taliban, should India continue to stay away? That's number one question, and a very basic question, because it's important to have a chat with Taliban. If I take you through this map of Afghanistan, then you can see here there's all these red patches that you can see on your screen, right? This all tiny and big patches that we have. This is basically map of Afghanistan, and here you can see this red patches are Taliban stronghold. You have small pockets of ISIS as well, and this white portion is area that is under control of this current government of Afghanistan. So from this map itself, you can see that nearly 50% of this land portion of Afghanistan is under control of Taliban. If I give you proper figure, then it is 46%. 46% of area of Afghanistan is under direct and indirect control of Taliban. So one thing that you can clearly deduce from this particular map is that Taliban is a very, you can say, powerful force in Afghanistan, and its presence is quite wide as well. Now, all this major power, this Washington or USA, Russia, China, there are other stakeholders as well. They said that they are ready for this meeting, and India as well. When Vladimir Putin was here last month, remember when we signed this S-400 defense missile system deal with Russia? At that point of time, he was here, and he informed us about this Moscow format. This meeting is called Moscow format because it took place in Moscow. It was a platform that was provided by Russia, and from this thing we can also make one thing that Russia is a very important player as far as this peace process in Afghanistan is concerned. Now, there is a history as well of Russia and Afghanistan's interaction. It was all back in Cold War era when this USSR force invaded Afghanistan, and then USA started helping this local people of Afghanistan. This whole concept of Mujahideen was introduced at that point of time. Now this area, the Central Asian portion, was under control of USSR. Iran and USA are not good friends. In fact, they are enemies, arch rivals, since 1979 to be precise. So and this invasion was in 80s, right? 1980s, 80s here. Now, this is correct. So it was in early 1980s at that point of time when USSR invaded Afghanistan. So the only option left with the USA was Pakistan. So from Pakistan, it started providing ISI, that is inter-service intelligence, and Pakistan's army was supported by USA in terms of technology, in terms of weapons and money, and everything was injected by USA over here, because Cold War was basically about USA versus USSR. So this is a small history of Russia and USA and Afghanistan. I hope things are clear to you now. So USA, this Russia was an important player, and at present as well, this meeting in fact it took place in Moscow. This itself indicates that Russia is even today a very important player as far as this Afghan peace process is concerned. The second thing is that Afghanistan or Afghan government itself was desperate enough to have a chat with Taliban, because as I told you, right, Taliban is a very strong force in Afghanistan, and every single day we find this news, isn't it? Somewhere here and there you find attacks are taking place, some 50, 20, 30, sometimes 10, sometimes 2, sometimes in high security areas as well. We find this terrorist attacks are taking place in Afghanistan. So things are a bit bad in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan's government is a bit desperate to sort out things with, and the only way is to have a chat with Taliban. We saw some sort of ceasefire in back, not the most recent Eid, but the Eid before that. There was a ceasefire for 2 or 3 days, but then right after that we saw like multiple attacks took place. So when Afghanistan government is desperate about having a chat with the Taliban, then there is no point for us to stop them, isn't it? And we have always said this thing that this peace process in Afghanistan should be Afghan-owned and Afghan-led. That's what we have always said. Now, it's going to be, people are going to raise this, they are going to ask us this question, because India has always, from last nearly 2 decades, India has said this thing that there is no difference between good and bad Taliban. And now when we are sending 2 of our retired diplomats to take part in this meeting, in fact, they took part in this conference, this Moscow format conference. So there are going to be, voices, they will ask us this question, that what was the necessity of this thing. So first answer is this one, right, that all important players are taking part in it, then why we should stay away from it. And the second thing is, if Afghanistan government, and we have always supported Afghanistan government because our engagement with Afghanistan is more about development of Afghanistan and about its people, and making this creating strong institutions over there, making Afghanistan a more practical, more democratic country. That's what we have always tried. And when Afghanistan is ready to have a chat with Afghanistan government is ready to have a chat with Taliban, then we should in fact at least support them. At least we should not stop them. And here I would say that we have adopted a very sound diplomacy by sending 2 retired diplomats, because when we are sending retired diplomats, it's not official, but it's not unofficial as well. So we are somewhere right on the border, right? We are not supporting it officially, or we are not against it. We were there, our presence was there, and we made this thing very clear. The only condition was that our diplomats, this 2 retired diplomats, they were not allowed to talk. So they were there, they were listening everything, they were observing everything, and we were there. So it's not that bad. The other thing is, it is no longer, it's no longer a reality, because as I told you, right, Afghanistan this Taliban is a very powerful force in Afghanistan. So when we were saying that it's no, when we used to say this thing that there is no difference between good Taliban and bad Taliban, and therefore there is no room for any sort of engagement. But that stand or that thing has changed now. Ground reality is a bit different. We have to be a bit realistic, because at present, if we want to have a ceasefire, if we want to see a ceasefire in Afghanistan, then we need Taliban on table. So far I can say that yes, so far things are good, and right, when we are there, when we took part in this thing, that does not mean that we are accepting the ideology of this Taliban. And we are not, of course, never going to say yes to unreasonable terms. If terms and conditions, if they are unreasonable, if they are impractical, then we are never going to support it when it is offered from Taliban. And of course, Afghanistan government will not accept something that is not making sense. So it's a good start, I would say, right? It's a good start. So that's everything with this topic. Now let's talk about topic number 2. It's about less crop per drop. Now this particular topic is in news because Maharashtra government has announced 2018 as a drought year, and it is seeking 7,000 crore rupees from the government of India to compensate farmers regarding this drought and losses associated with this drought. Now the question is Maharashtra the only state that is facing drought this year? Not at all. There are other states as well. Now, if we go through the figure that is provided by Maharashtra government is saying that they have received, there is a deficiency of 22% in rainfall. But Gujarat has registered 24%. There are a few pockets of Gujarat or regions of Gujarat called Saurashtra and Kutch region. They have 34% deficiency. Rajasthan 24%, Karnataka 29%, and then you have this few states of eastern and northeastern part of our country. They have on an average registered 20% deficiency in rainfall in the year of 2018. One big question that we need to ask here is, what's going on with Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana or Prime Minister Insurance Scheme, right? Farmers Insurance, Crop Insurance Scheme. If government of Maharashtra is seeking money for the farmers, that means this Fasal Bima Yojana, this crop insurance scheme, has been a big failure in Maharashtra. That's something that we can easily deduce from this situation. The second thing is, in Maharashtra, irrigation investment is going on for a very long period of time now. From last 20 years, if you observe last 20 years, then you find that big projects have been constructed here, big dams have been constructed here, canals have been constructed in Maharashtra. So what's going on, right? You have a few pockets of Maharashtra, they have like good rainfall. So why can't we diversify or distribute this water, excessive water, in parts of this arid region? So that also, this is a second evidence, or I would say a second question that we need to ask is that what's going on with this irrigation investment? Now, if say rupees 20 lakh equivalent to the cost of public irrigation on IPU basis were given to each farmer on per hectare basis as long-term bonds with a fixed interest of say 8%, right, per annum, he would have got a net annual income of rupees 1.6 lakh without any risk. And this is how much Maharashtra has already invested in irrigation projects. And irrigation projects are not delivering fruits, they are not delivering results, because the money that Maharashtra has invested so far for this irrigation project, it should, right, minimum income or minimum benefit of farmer should be 1.6 lakh per year. But that is not something that is happening over there. That means something is wrong. And what is wrong over there? The thing is, it's very interesting to know that there is a massive inequity in the distribution of irrigation water in Maharashtra. And it's not just Maharashtra, we find this thing in other parts of our country as well. Now, the most horrific thing about our agriculture is this thing that, just take example, this, let's say that we have got 100 liter of pure soft water, or potable water, or maybe soft water that you can filter and then you can use it for drinking purpose as well. So out of this 100 liter, we are using, 70 to 80%, or you can say 70 to 80 liter will go for agriculture, and the rest 30 or 20 liter, whatever you have with you, that will be used for drinking and domestic and other purposes. So from this figure, we can understand that we are using a huge amount of water for agriculture. This is not sustainable at all. We don't need this much of water. And even today, if we are using this much of water, that means drip irrigation or micro irrigation facility is something that farmers are unaware about, or they are not doing things with the help of this micro irrigation. If states or countries like Israel, if they can, without if they are located in this desert portion, and then as well if they can export fruits and vegetables to different parts of this West Asia, then we don't have that much scarcity in Maharashtra. So distribution is the key, proper usage of water is the key, sustainable way of agriculture is the key here. And the other thing is, Maharashtra, although about 19% of gross cropped area is irrigated, in case of sugarcane it is 100%, and in case of cotton it is just 3%. So here as well you can see this massive inequity. So the only way out is proper insurance implementation or proper implementation of Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Second is maximum utilization, or I would say optimal utilization of irrigation projects, modern way of farming, micro irrigation. All these things are you can say a solution for this problem. 7,000 crore rupee is not a big amount for central government. It will give it as well, but that's not going to help. Then other states will seek the same thing, and when other states will start asking for 7,000 and someone for 5,000 and 2,000, then the total figure will be a big number, and we cannot waste this much of exchequer's money after this thing. We need to sort the things out, because climate change is something that we are already going through. So I hope this topic number 2 is clear as well. Now I have got a sad news, sorry about that, but Shri Anant Kumar, who was Union Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, current Parliamentary Affairs Minister, he's no more with us. He was suffering from, if I'm not wrong, he was suffering from lung cancer, and he has passed away. So it's a very sad news for our nation. I would like to add here that see, you have to understand that politicians, right, not all politicians are bad. They do represent, they come from various different parties, but I'm not sure if you are aware about this thing. When they are not, they are good friends as well. I mean, so they do visit each other. You've seen Prime Minister visiting Lalu Prasad Yadav's granddaughters or daughter's marriage. So the thing is, they have this, it's politics, right? You have friends and foes and everyone, but ministers, right, they belong to the nation, and we have lost a union minister. So that's a big vacuum, and that's a very sad news, but the show must go on. God bless his family and his departed soul. That's what we can say here. We have a bit of good news now. For Prime Minister's office, so Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated the multimodal terminal on the River Ganga to the nation and received the first container cargo. When I say first container cargo, we are talking about inland first container cargo. So waterways is a reality now, right? That we are trying to build some 6 national waterways, and there are a few benefits of waterways. Let me write it down for you guys. It saves a huge amount of time, then money as well. When I say money, I'm talking about energy, right? It is much cheaper to transport goods via waterways. You can take big amount compared to trains, and compared to roadways, and compared to airways. You can take a big shipment via waterways. Less fuel is required, so less cost, less vehicular traffic, less vehicular pollution, less congestion on road. So all these things are you can say merits of waterways. So that's a new era in our country. Now this eastern Uttar Pradesh is now connected with the Bay of Bengal. Apart from that, Varanasi Ring Road Phase 1 and the development and construction for 4-laning of Babatpur Varanasi section of National Highway number 56 has been inaugurated by Prime Minister. He also inaugurated various other developmental projects in Varanasi. Now news from Ayush Ministry. International Conference on Yoga for Public Health of 2018 was held at, this is a small question for you guys. Think about it. If you want, you can pause the video here. And you have 4 cities on your screen: Delhi, Mumbai, Panaji and Ahmedabad. So select the right option. Stick your answer in the comment section of this video. You can also post it in the live chat, and I'll give you the right answer now. I believe that most of you have posted your answer. Right answer is Panaji, Goa, right? This is where this International Conference on Yoga for Public Health 2018 was held. Now Shripad Nayak, who is our junior minister of this Ayush ministry, he said that yoga is basically focusing on this change of our lifestyle, and Western countries are showing much interest towards yoga. Some 20 million people, we are talking about what, 2 crore plus people are following yoga, are practicing yoga in USA, and this number is increasing at the rate of 5% every year. In fact, USA is military as well. They have adopted yoga in its training curriculum. Other countries like UK, Southeastern countries, Southeast Asian countries, and then you have this European countries. There are so many countries they are practicing yoga at present. The biggest, I would say, USP of yoga is that you can mix it up with your normal therapy. So if you are taking medication or if you are under medical treatment, then you can also practice yoga. There are so many yogas that you can do, and this will not negatively, in fact, it will positively impact it will add up, to your recovery. So that's a good thing about yoga. The system of yoga is having potential role in public health system as well, and there were some 600 delegates from 50 countries who were present in this conference. Moving on to another item. Yesterday we were talking about Singapore and India's bilateral exercise, and here we have one more news from the same area. Indonesia and India together, we are going to conduct this Samudra Shakti. So the name itself indicates that it's about bilateral naval exercise between Indonesia and India, and it is called Samudra Shakti. And Indonesia is country. It's the world's biggest archipelago. That means it is made up of small islands. Some 17,000 plus islands are part of Indonesia. 17,000 plus. Yes, I'm right. And the aim of this exercise is to strengthen bilateral cooperation and things like that. And comprehensive strategic partnership was signed between both the countries. Moving on to another item, Ministry of Home Affairs has got news for us, but it's about a very interesting country called Morocco. Now we have signed this agreement that we are going to share this mutual legal assistance in criminal matters. And here it is on your screen. Morocco, a very interesting country. Rabat is its capital. It's right here, right? Atlantic Ocean is washing the coast of this northwestern part of Morocco and western part of Morocco. On top, you have on the northern side, you have Strait of Gibraltar. So you have Spain here. Morocco is a very unique country. It has a touch of Africa. It is part of Africa, of course. Then it has a touch of Africa. It has touch of Arabic world, as well as it has touch of Europe. It's a very, you can say, unique culture that you find in Morocco. Then you have this Atlas Mountain. They are here in Morocco, so this is a very important mountain range. Then you have Mediterranean Sea, with which it is sharing its border, this portion here. Strait of Gibraltar, I have already mentioned. So these are some important places. One more, last one is this Marrakesh. Marrakesh was in news for this Marrakesh COP22. COP22 took place here. COP, that means Conference of Parties. So COP21 was Paris, after that Marrakesh, after that it was in Bonn Conference, COP23. And COP24 is going to take in Katowice, that is in Poland. It's going to take place on 3rd of December to be precise. Now, Prime Minister's office has got one more news for us. It's about Singapore. Prime Minister has said that he will be visiting Singapore from 14th to 15th November, and he's going to participate in this ASEAN India as well as East Asia Summit. He's also going to take part in this RECAP, or this Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Now, this RECAP is important for us because of Indo-Pacific region. This East Asia Summit as well as ASEAN India discussion is also important for us because it is part of this Indo-Pacific region here. You can see on your screen, this red portion is Indo-Pacific region. Now, we have some more items from Prime Minister's office. Sri Narendra Modi met PM STIAC. STIAC stands for Science, Tech and Innovation Advisory Council. The main job of this council is to render advice on all matters related to science, technology, innovation, and monitors the implementation of Prime Minister's vision on these issues. Prime Minister said that technology and science and innovation must reach the common man, solve common day-to-day problems, and it should facilitate ease of living in our country. Then we have one more item. 7th RECAP intersessional ministerial meeting took place in Singapore. It was our country was represented by our Commerce Minister Suresh Prabhu. And this RECAP that we were talking about, it has got 16 countries. So you have 10 countries of ASEAN, and then you have plus 6, that is Australia, China, India, Japan, Korea, and Korea, when I say, it's of course South Korea and New Zealand. I have a question for you guys. Which country is the chair of ASEAN this year, that is 2018? And again, you can post this video, you can post your answer in the chat box, or you can post it in the comment section, and I'm going to give you the right answer now. It is Singapore, and this is one of the main reasons why this meeting is taking place in Singapore. Now, last item of the day is exercise Indra 2018, military exercise taking place between India and Russia, and it's about combating insurgency under the aegis of United Nations. So that's everything in today's discussion. Thank you very much for listening. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my FB page and Twitter handle. Please make sure that you share this lecture with other students as well. I am going to finish the backlog as soon as possible, so stay with me, bear with me. Thank you for your support, and that's everything. I will see you tomorrow. Till then, enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai